Hey everyone, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Eyliana. Welcome to the Armory.
This is a place where believers can be encouraged to live for Jesus and make disciples.
We want to provide an arsenal of resources that help Christians to be bold in their faith.
Our hope is that through this podcast, people will learn to love God's Word and abide in Christ.
Thanks for joining.
All right, well, welcome to this week's episode of The Armory, and we actually have a fun little bonus episode.
Whoop, whoop.
Taking a break from our normal series that we're in, The Armor of God, just to kind of give you guys a little actual life update.
Update.
Stuff that's going on with us, because we got a lot of stuff going on.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm just excited.
Yeah, well, it's fun. So this episode will come out kind of right after the next one, so there won't be like a big 2-week break, and then we'll continue next week with our regular series. So we kind of have like 3 in a row, back-to-back weeks, which would be kind of fun.
Fun, yeah.
But first, kind of, we just really wanted to share. We felt like there's a lot of stuff going on in our life, things that we're doing, new things happening. And so we thought it would be fun to not just share a life update, but kind of share a little bit about how we got here to Dallas, where we were before that, where we're going, different things like that.
All the behind-the-scenes footage.
Yeah, and we'll be back to the Armor of God next week. So that'd be good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so basically, I think one of the things that's kind of important, maybe not everyone understands this, is right now we're currently living in Dallas, Texas, and we're currently living on the campus of Dallas Theological Seminary.
We are in our office
right now.
right
We are
now.
currently in the apartments. But before we were here, we were living at Moody Bible Institute, where we both were students in our undergrad. And basically what we were doing there is we were just studying for ministry. We both individually felt called to ministry, and that's where we actually met for the first time.
Yeah.
So like a lot definitely happened like in between that whole stage.
Yeah. Should we share what our degrees are?
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about like everything.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so I have an undergraduate degree in preaching, biblical exposition, to be fancy about it. But that's kind of what I wanted to do when I got to Moody. I felt called into ministry at the end of high school, and I decided to go to Moody Bible Institute, go to Chicago, and that's where I spent those 4 years living there, just getting to know people, made a lot of great relationships, just learned so much about myself, about others, about ministry, not just in the classroom, but also just like being part of a church in the city.
Yeah.
It was just a really cool opportunity. And I didn't actually know Eyliana till probably really like halfway through my time there. And then I didn't really get to know her until like the last year I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, you kind of knew me before.
I mean, I knew of you.
I knew you more than you knew me. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. You knew me more. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So we went to Moody. I got there. So Matt's a year older than me in school. So, well, and in life.
In life and in school.
And in school. But you were like a grade above me at
Yeah.
Moody. So when I came in as a freshman, you were a sophomore. And I studied, my degree is called pre-counseling in human services. So all about like counseling. I knew I had a passion for biblical counseling. When I was looking at Moody and like the degrees they offered, I looked at that one and like loved all the classes that they were offering. So was super excited to just jump right into like studying that. And then like my first 2 years there, just learned a lot, like not about counseling, because like I didn't have those classes right away, and learned a lot about like theology and like church history, and honestly just a lot about like friendships and why having women in my life who love the Lord and who can speak into my life, why that's so important, and why there's a reason why the Lord calls us brothers and sisters in Christ, and just finding more opportunities to serve both on campus and off campus and church. And yeah, there's a lot of things that the Lord did, I would say, in both of our lives, like at Moody. And just, I mean, we've been talking about it kind of this weekend, even just like from where we were at when we were in high school versus like knowing, there's a difference between like knowing the Lord is calling you to a life in ministry and then like actually realizing why he did that, like, and watching that play out. And I feel like we got to do that while we were at Moody. And yeah, we met each other there. Started dating pretty much right away after we started talking to each other, and got to spend a lot of time with each other's families during COVID, and that's kind of when we got engaged and all of that. And then
I moved to Dallas because I was continuing my degree. I went to go on. I'm currently getting my master's degree right now, master's in Christian education here at Dallas Theological Seminary. So I left a year before Eyliana. So she was finishing up her senior year. She was still in Chicago, and I was here in Dallas.
Which is terrible, by the way. Long distance engagement is
It was very
not
hard,
a move.
But we made it through. We ended up getting married literally 2 weeks after she graduated.
Literally a year ago from today, or like from this weekend, was graduation.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks from now was when the wedding was going to be.
Our 1 year wedding anniversary is coming up.
Yeah.
We made it through a whole year almost.
Almost.
But we got married 2 weeks after her graduation. And then we went on honeymoon, we went to Maine. And then we literally got everything packed in a U-Haul and drove from Newaygo, Michigan, all the way down to Dallas, Texas. It was crazy.
Which, how many hours is that? Or miles? I don't even know.
I don't even remember.
More than the drive we're about to do?
No, it was less. We're about to take... The reason we're giving a lot of this backstory just kind of to catch you guys up for what we're doing in our lives right now and what we're going to be doing. But sneak peek for later in this episode, we were talking about a 20-hour drive we're going to be taking very soon.
But that one was long, too. And it was like... Yeah. We had literally just gotten back from our honeymoon and we're like... See ya. Moving to different state. Well, I guess you were already living here, but you were going to be moving to a different apartment, on campus. No family. None of my friends from school could come with me. Unfortunately, I asked.
So I had been living here for a year, so I was already starting my degree, and we ended up getting married. We were basically planning on being here for maybe a couple of years, depending on how long the degree was going to take. A lot of stuff ended up changing with that. Ended up getting the degree shortened a lot. And
because you ended up changing degrees, actually.
Yeah. And basically, we realized, wow, we're going to be getting out of here a lot sooner than we thought. That's because we took an opportunity to do a residency, kind of a pastoral residency in Maryland. And we'll talk about that in a second. But we really, really had a lot of fun here in Dallas. We started kind of with not a ton of community.
Yeah, there's like...
I had a community here on campus, just with the guys in a small group here on campus, but Eyliana didn't really have that, so we were trying to form that in our church, and it took a while, but once it did happen, we started becoming friends with people really quickly.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Which really didn't even start until like January, I would say. Like we got into our small group. We go to Watermark Church, Community Church.
Watermark Community Church.
In Dallas, and like... They take community very seriously, which we were super excited about. But we didn't even really start that until like Christmas time. And then January, we started meeting with them. Yeah.
So we got like super plugged into community. It was really great. And then we found out that the last thing I have to do for my degree, because I'm essentially done with the academic part of my degree, the last thing we had to do is a year-long like pastoral residency. So you could think about it like in the medical field, where when you graduate from medical school, you're going on to do the work of a doctor, but you're a resident. You're kind of underneath like a doctor who's over you. They're supervising you.
I'm just thinking about Grey's Anatomy. Like when they're all when they all
I've never seen it. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I've never seen it, but apparently that's the vibe. People probably understand the doctor residency term a lot better. So like you're still a doctor. You're functioning as a doctor. You're doing everything a doctor does. But you're being shepherded, you're being watched over, you're being guided, you're being trained by a doctor who's over you. So that's essentially what a pastoral residency is the exact same thing, just not in the medical field. So we found out we had to do that. And so we basically had a couple options, a couple places that we pursued and like really were interested in having us there, and we prayed over it. And we found ourselves going to the next stage of our life, which is kind of our major life update. Which is taking us out of Dallas, Texas.
We're out of here.
We are going to a church in Mount Airy, Maryland, a small town in Maryland where I actually grew up. And it's called Mount Airy Bible Church. And so that's kind of the last thing I have to do to graduate. But
besides all the online classes, you're literally starting tomorrow. But
yeah, I'm doing a couple online classes to finish tomorrow, starting tomorrow. This summer.
But you're so close.
But that is basically the last thing we have to do, and that's kind of launching us into the next phase of our lives, is because that is what's going to kind of push us into full-time ministry, being done with school and being kind of put into ministry. So we both have different opportunities, but they're very complementary and they're very, very awesome. I'm going to be serving as a pastoral resident at that church. It's going to be a year long, and the desire and the goal is to stay there for a number of years, to be there. Just to be serving the Lord and help serve that community, serve that church, learn a lot, and hopefully
there's a lot of great men and like their wives and women there that are like, I'm so excited for us to be able to learn from and like get
it's
to
going to
know.
be great.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, and Eyliana also has job opportunity there, which is great.
Yeah. So, we didn't talk about this, but when we moved to Dallas, I literally started a job the next day. Like, we got into our apartment and we're unloading and, like, didn't even have our furniture built. And the next day I started a job here, which has been great. And also, I had the same an opportunity to have this new job in Mount Airy when we get there. And so Mount Airy Bible Church also has a school, Mount Airy Christian Academy. And so long term, the goal would be that my role would serve in kind of a counseling function there as a guidance counselor for the school, maybe some sort of counseling department in the church, who knows. But either way, like, the opportunity for me there is really just like, I'm excited to be able to use a lot of the things I learned in college and kind of be in ministry, no matter what that looks like, right? So whether that's at the school or the church or just like with you and with our community there, like it's going to be really exciting, I think, for both of us to keep learning from the community there and also like use a lot of this training that we've been given. Not that we haven't been using it already, but it's just going to be new. It's going to be more vocational and in a like structured setting. So
yeah, and there's just been so much blessing surrounding this move. You know, it's always anxiety producing, you know, when you're going from one thing, you know, to something new. And we've just had so many things to be grateful for, between they being so gracious and giving us a place to live while we're there. And just for all the opportunities that I'll have, Eyliana will have, just how seamless a lot of this transition is going to be. We really have nothing to complain about. We have just so many things to praise the Lord about. And it's really exciting. So life update number 1, we are leaving Dallas. We're finishing up our time here at Dallas Theological Seminary, and we are entering full-time ministry, kind of a culmination of what we've been wanting to do for years now.
Years, because we're so old. We've been waiting so long.
so long. I mean, 6 years, that's a long time for someone who's not that old. It's
that's true.
A big chunk of my life.
Wow, good point.
But, and now we are finally moving on to that next stage, which is really exciting. And we just wanted to update you guys about that. So the podcast studio will change. We will not be in this terrible not soundproof room. And hopefully...
Will we be in a soundproof room?
Well, there'll be carpets, so maybe there'll be better acoustics. But so maybe the podcast will change volumes.
We'll have to keep you guys updated. We'll post pictures. Who knows? I don't even know what it's going to look like. We got to move first, and then that's our 20-hour drive that we're taking, by the way, in case we didn't make that clear. So we are basically
packing up everything. A U-Haul truck, and we're throwing everything back there, and we are driving 20 hours, which is probably one of the longest drives I've done. Oh, that's not true. I've done about that distance, but in one day. We're doing it in 2 days for sure.
Yeah. I'm like terrified.
And so one of the reasons we're definitely doing it in 2 days is kind of life update number 2.
Which some of you guys probably already know.
Yeah, some of you definitely already know this, but maybe not everyone does.
Maybe not everybody who listens to our podcast knows us on social media or in life. So
that's true. It's very possible. So what is life update?
Life update number 2. We are having a baby.
Yes. Not a food baby, a real baby.
Finally, a real baby.
Not a food baby. But we are so excited. We just found out. So excited. I don't know how long it's been.
Oh, I don't know. Well, we're 14 weeks pregnant.
14 weeks pregnant.
In case anybody's wondering.
The due date is November 4th.
Yeah.
So we are overjoyed. We've been wanting this for a while. Ever since we got married, we've talked about having kids, starting a family.
Lots of
kiddos. And I think honestly, it probably couldn't come at a better time. You got to think like when people think about planning their family, they are always trying to find like, what's the best time? What's the best stage of life? And every time I hear that, and I'm not some old wise guy who's had family for years, you know, but I just think about that and I just laugh inside, because I'm like, the fact that you're trying to find a time in your life where everything's going to line up and you're going to have, you're not going to be as busy. You're going to have more money. All that is ridiculous. Like that does not exist in this world, and we're not promised that at all. So for me, at least the way I've thought about it is like, I want to start my family young. I want to be a young parent. I want to be a young grandparent, Lord willing, one day. Like I just want to be able to have that kind of time with my kids. And, you know, I think we're just really excited, and we've been wanting this for a while.
Yeah, we're really excited.
And so I think it's just, we're going to a new city, we're moving to a new church, we have a new home, and we're going to have a new member of our family. So
it's
baby
like
Holly, stay tuned. We do not know the sex yet. We have not figured that out yet.
We will announce
We will figure it out, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
Coming up in a couple of weeks, we'll know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So that is the life update number 2.
Life update number 2.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we're really excited. I think too, like, I was thinking, today's Mother's Day, the day that we're recording.
Yeah, this will come out on Tuesday. Will not be Mother's Day, but it is currently Mother's Day.
Hopefully you guys had a great Mother's Day. But I was like so emotional at church today.
Mm-hmm. It is Eyliana's first Mother's Day. She's a mom.
Yeah, and so I just like was crying because I was like, I don't really know why I was crying. Sometimes that just happens when you're pregnant, obviously. But also I think I was just like so thankful. I was like, because Mother's Day, like we talk about in the church, at least like most churches talk about like how that's such a hard day for a lot of people who like want to get pregnant and maybe can't, or have lost their mother, or don't have a good relationship with their mother or their kids or something. And I was like just thinking about how gracious the Lord has been to us to like, we like, I mean, I was really like wanting to have kids my whole life. That's like what I've wanted. I want to be a mom and I want to be a wife. Like I knew that since I was little. And so like how gracious and patient is the Lord to like extend that blessing to us to like be able to be parents. And I think that's why I was emotional, because I was like, oh my gosh,
maybe
we're just so thankful, like, or I'm just so thankful, and like we're so blessed like by the Lord to be experiencing this. And I mean, from some people's perspective, it's like, wow, what an inconvenient time for you guys to have a baby. Like you have to take this 20-hour drive, you're moving, like I basically don't know anything about the town we're moving to. Just like I was there one time and things I've heard from you, but like really like what you said, could not be better suited for our family. And like the Lord has chosen us to take care of this child, and we're really excited about that opportunity to disciple.
I mean, it's the Lord's timing. And that's why it's the best timing. So we're just going to trust him. There's a lot of like things that definitely come up in our minds, like we would be worried about. There's a lot of unknowns.
Like what stroller to buy. Oh my gosh, why is that so stressful?
If anyone who listens to this podcast has a child, I just want to know how you found out what stroller you need. Because
it seems like they've changed a lot in the past, even like 5 years.
It seems like you're making a choice between a stroller that will protect your baby and every other stroller is trying to kill your baby. That's just what it's like. And you have to make the right choice, or it's going to be bad.
I keep thinking like all these products wouldn't exist if they like didn't pass some sort of testing, right, for babies. Or something.
We can go to a museum and see what the strollers used to look like, and I feel like those kids were fine.
I'm sure we'll all be okay.
We'll have a approved stroller.
But with that being said, some people, I think, when they're pregnant or like when they're expecting a baby, like moms and dads don't want to get advice from people because they're like, that's overwhelming to me. Here's what I'm going to say. If anybody has any advice about you need this product, you don't need this product, do this, don't do this. Yeah. I'm just at this point where I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah,
and
listen,
then I'll
if your
filter
suggestion's bad, like we'll just won't take it.
I just won't listen to you.
Note your suggestion was noted, logged away for later. We will not be doing that.
But seriously, we have been like, I'm literally so thankful. Like there's so many people in our lives, both here in other states where we're moving, that have been like, if you need help with anything, like, or have you thought about this? I'm like, no, I didn't think about that one product for the baby that you probably are saying would change my life. But we're really thankful for like all the help that people have offered us, even to move and about the baby and everything.
And one of the fun things is we happen to know 2 different families that have triplets.
Yeah.
And
that we're close with.
Very close with. And watching them take care of their children, we're like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like
I can take care of one baby.
If they can do 3, we can do 1, right?
Yeah.
So
because they're like rock star parents.
All kidding aside, we are definitely going to be needing prayers, grace. It's going to be very hard, but we are so excited. We cannot be more happy for this.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like 2 major life updates.
Yeah. So be praying.
Yeah. So we are
please.
currently in the midst of packing.
Well,
by packing,
started.
I mean, Eyliana and I talked about we need to pack later this week. So we're
and
probably
we
going to
bought
start this
bins
weekend.
from the store. We bought like tote bins.
Yeah. Fun fact, tote bins at Target are way more expensive than tote bins at Lowe's.
And we did that the hard way, where we went to Target and impulsively kind of bought these bins. And then later we're at Lowe's for work and realized that they're way nicer and cheaper there. But
yeah, so if you are moving and you want to get some nice totes,
go to a hardware
Lowe's,
store.
Don't go to Target. Target's great for a lot of things, but not saving money on bins. That's just the one thing they don't do good.
But we already bought it. It's like, is it worth returning it?
It was, to be honest, it was probably like
not that much more money.
With the amount of bins we bought, we probably paid an extra $15.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, with the time it would take to go back to Target, go all these things, is just not
worth our time. We do like to save money. We are like,
which is funny.
Money savers.
Funny that we're saying that, because that is exactly how I am. I'd be like, oh, it's $3. Yeah, we're gonna go drive and save
Well,
all this
I
money.
actually was kind of surprised when we saw the ones at Lowe's. I was like, do you want to return the ones at Target? You were like, nah.
I was just like,
I was like, oh, okay.
We have way too much on our schedule in our last 2 weeks here to worry about saving $10 on bins.
Yeah.
But,
oh, maybe some unsolicited advice I would give to our listeners.
Sure.
They should sit down if they're married. Well, even if they're not married, you should sit down on Sundays or like one day of your week and write out your schedule for just that week. Especially if you're married.
We just did that. 20 minutes ago.
And it literally saves our life every week, I swear.
And when we don't do it, our lives are terrible.
Because we missed it it wasn't terrible last week. But we missed it the last couple weeks because we were like busy and out of town.
We didn't know what to do.
And we were like, who are we meeting with today? What day is it?
Sunday is like our reset day.
Yeah.
After church, we usually cook all our meals here at home. But like on Sunday, we'll usually go out to eat. After church, maybe we'll go with some friends.
Do our grocery hauls, obviously, if you follow me on Instagram.
We do grocery shopping, so we like reset our food for the week. We sit down at some point, and what's the week holding for us, and it is like one of the most important things I feel like we do. Is like just all the stuff.
Besides like going to church and being in the body of
No,
Christ.
making the list is top priority.
No,
just kidding.
But it is like a good relaxing like way to reset ourselves, and I would say like it is in part of our Sabbath, like to like sit down together and like we ask you. Maybe we should just share this as a resource.
Yeah,
we use the Marriage Journal.
This is this podcast. We can do it.
We use a resource called the Marriage Journal
by Audrey and Jeremy Roloff.
Yes, and so it's basically a book that they've created that every week has a devotional, has a schedule calendar where you can go through with your spouse and write your schedule, and then questions each week that you answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we've told a lot of people about it.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned on the podcast.
I don't think we did.
But I don't think we did either because I feel like I would have put that in the show notes before. We'll put a link to their website. They have a podcast too. I think they're on like a brief sabbatical right now.
Yeah,
but
I don't really
in between
know. I used
like
to
seasons. But their Marriage Journal is amazing.
They're Christians. We should say.
There is a brief little devotional at the beginning. Probably takes 3 minutes to read. It's very encouraging. And then we just go through that. That's what we just did. We literally went through that. We went through the calendar. We talked through what our week looks like, what meetings I have, what meetings Eyliana has. Sometimes that's very helpful. We're like, because we only have one car. Like, this is going to be an issue. Like, we have to figure out this. So it's very helpful for us. And then there's 6 questions that they ask every week. And then once a month, there's 2 extra questions. Yeah. So the questions are, I'm seeing if I can remember all of them.
We can help each other. I think we got it.
I think we can get all these?
Yeah.
The first one is, what brought you joy this week?
Yeah, which is like fun, easy.
So we just take turns each week. Each one of us will, like Eyliana wrote this week, like I'll do it next week. So she was writing. We each shared
what brought us joy.
Things that brought us joy. The next one is what brought you, I don't know the
what
word.
Was hard this week.
Hard, that's the word. I was about to say what brought you sorrow, but that's
not what they say. It's just like what was hard this week.
What was hard this week. So we talk about like, hey, this was really difficult this week. And this is a good resource mostly because a lot of couples forget to share this stuff with each other in communication.
Yeah, that's happened to us a couple times.
And we try to do a good job at talking about these things throughout the week, but sometimes we forget about something, and so when we get to the end of the week, we can definitely make sure we don't let weeks go by without addressing things. So, what was good about the week? What was hard about the week? What's the third one?
Ooh.
The third one is...
I'm thinking of the fourth one. The third one
How can I serve you this week?
Oh, yeah. What can I do to serve you this week?
So that's always a fun question. Just like, hey, what's something that...
And sometimes they're like, we have like silly answers.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like pretty serious answers. Like, oh, I really need help with
it'd be really helpful this week if you did this or something ridiculous. Yeah. The next one is...
what's a joy or not joy? What's a craving, dream, or desire that's been on the forefront of your mind lately? Yeah. I think I got that word for word, and I'm not looking at the book. For word.
That's the 5th one, right? Or the 4th one.
Yeah.
What's the 5th one?
How can I pray for you?
That's the 6th one. Or is there only 5?
There's only 5.
Okay,
and then there's 2 bonus ones that we did today, which is why you're confused.
6. There's 5. The 5th one is how can I pray for you this week? And then you're supposed to pray with your spouse right then and there. Like, take time, pray with one another.
Whoever does the writing that week will pray that week.
Yeah, and it's great. And then today we had our monthly questions, which only obviously ever come up once a month. And these are, how are you stewarding your finances and how is your sex life?
Which also 2 questions.
For us, because we are married.
Yeah.
Married couples only.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, like, a lot of couples don't talk about that. They don't talk about finances and they don't talk about their sex life.
Which is probably the 2 biggest contributors to fighting, strife in marriage and divorce. So,
You heard it here, folks. Don't quote us on that, but you can quote us on that.
I'm pretty sure that's top.
I'm sure that's like written.
Money and sex.
Money, yeah, no, it is.
Like,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
Money for sure.
For sure. That's gotta be.
There's a statistic out there somewhere.
No, I really do think. I think there is. I like feel like I remember that. But yeah, we're really thankful. Also, I'm just reminded of our little piggy bank that's in our office up here.
Yeah, so we're just, since we're doing a life update episode, we're just looking around our room and just deciding to tell you guys about things. We'll say one more thing and then we'll end this episode. We have been, since we got married and we had, I don't even know how much it was, a certain amount of money. It doesn't really matter. Student loans. And we have been just trying to be resilient and just go crazy paying these student loans
on our wedding registry. We like wrote something to our guests about how we had a goal to pay off our debt within a year of getting married, and we had like a fund for our debt basically, which was really encouraging. People like close in us helped us with that at the beginning of our marriage.
And so one of the things we have is we have this whiteboard, and it has a giant pig that Eyliana drew.
A piggy bank.
It's a little piggy bank, and
his name is Mr. Piggy.
We have the total debt that we have. We have how much we've paid, how much we have left, and as we go, we color it, and it's getting higher and higher and higher.
Think like your classic school or church fundraiser where the thermometer is like being colored in, except it's a pig.
And it's cuter than a thermometer.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time drawing it.
So there's kind of two like milestones on there. We have a halfway milestone, and then we have like a completely done milestone.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've always wanted to do together, since I say always, we haven't even known.
Always.
We've always, ever since we've known each other.
For the past 4 years we've known each other.
We really want to go to Italy.
Italy. I feel like that didn't come across. Italy.
What do you mean?
I just feel like it like rolled off your tongue and I didn't hear what you said.
I see.
Italy.
So we decided once we're done paying off our debt, we'll save money and we'll go to Italy. That'll be like our reward for paying off our student loans.
We need to save about as much money as we had in debt, but that's okay.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And one of the things we wanted to do when we got to the halfway point to kind of just celebrate is we wanted to go to this restaurant called Italy.
We wanted to do like Italian themed date night.
It's Italy, but it's EAT at the beginning, eat. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. There's only a couple in the country, but it's basically...
There was one in Chicago, like by our campus.
There's basically this giant Italian market. A lot of it is very authentic, and they have a restaurant in there, and it's very fun.
And Matt knows because he's Italian.
Yes, I'm Italian.
I actually am too, a little bit.
Oh, cool.
That's which is you.
So
bragging rights.
One of the things we want to do, we got halfway, is kind of go there to celebrate. Just thought it'd be fun. So we're going there tonight. We are actually 64% of the way done with our debt, but we finally found time in our schedule to go. And we're also kind of celebrating Eyliana's first Mother's Day. So it's kind of like a dual celebration.
Yeah.
So that is a lot, but we just wanted to make this episode for you guys so you guys kind of know what's going on. Like, we're going to be in Maryland in literally 2 weeks. We're heading out there. We're finishing our time here in Dallas. We're going to be moving there. We're starting a family. There's a lot of new things coming. We're excited that we're going to continue doing this podcast.
We're going to try and keep up with it as much as possible for you guys. I don't think it'll be a problem for us. But if we miss a week, be gracious with us because it's probably because I got really sick from being pregnant or... You know that actually a few weeks ago when we had to reschedule our podcast, that was because we had just found out I was pregnant and I was like super, super sick.
Yeah. We didn't say anything at the time, but that was what was going on.
Yeah, we just lied to you guys about it. I'm just kidding.
So that's all we wanted to say. We just kind of wanted to update you with what's going on in our lives. We just want to be transparent. I think it's more fun for you guys to listen to this podcast. Like if you know more about us and know who we are. And also we just thought this podcast would just be kind of fun. Like,
we just wanted to just share. We wanted to be like, it's a pride thing for us where we can talk about ourselves a little bit.
That is not what's going on.
No, but hopefully like for real, like
that's
hopefully
funny.
As you guys listen, you like, even as we share like what we studied for in ministry and like what we're passionate about, like really passionate about church and discipleship and counseling, and like Matt's really passionate about teaching God's word and like he's very gifted at that. And so like I hope that comes across to you guys as you listen, like, oh, here's the things that like maybe they've been called to in ministry, and I can see how that like comes across in their podcast. And hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to everything we had to say.
Yeah. We don't have a challenge for this week. We don't have a benediction. That will happen next week. So we'll be back on the regular schedule with the Armor of God. And so hope you guys enjoy this bonus episode, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.